Have you ever been at a party or a social gathering and there's a guy who will not stop talking in an attempt to impress and win others over? He's telling everybody about his life, his accomplishments, his connections, etc. But instead of winning over the audience, he's just alienating them. He's coming across as unempathetic, or worse yet, socially unintelligent. Maybe you've been that person. Maybe you've talked yourself out of a job or a deal. Maybe you've ruined a first impression by not letting the other person get a word in. Or you ended the potential of a first or second date by sending a long text, only to regret it the moment you hit send. Here is what most people don't realize. Every unnecessary word weakens your position. Whether in speaking or writing, clarity and crispness comes from brevity and precision. When you master the art of saying less, you can captivate a room, control negotiations, and command respect in a way that seems effortless. This just isn't about speaking less. It's about speaking powerfully. When you let others fill silence, it's the ultimate power move. It makes people lean in, wonder what you're thinking, reveal their thoughts, all while raising the value of the words that you do say. And if you're wondering how this works in real life, don't worry. I'm going to break it all down for you right now. Here's the truth. Most people don't know when to stop talking. They think more words equals more influence. But think about it for a second. When was the last time someone impressed you by rambling on and on? Exactly. The more that people talk, the more common they seem, and the less control they have over how others perceive them. When you say less, you do the opposite. You build mystery. You create curiosity. You make people want to hear from you instead of wishing that you'd stop. This is what Law 4 of the 48 Laws of Power is all about. It's say less than necessary. And this is not just a theory. It's a strategy that works in every arena of life. Let's talk about why this works so well. Because power is about appearances. The person talking most is usually the one selling themselves or their ideas. And that makes them vulnerable. They reveal their intentions, their weaknesses, their emotions, while the person who listens stays in control. There's also a deeper psychological aspect. Silence is uncomfortable. It forces the other person to fill the gap. And in doing so, it's like they're jumping through a hoop, demonstrating their willingness to act in order to keep the interaction going. Meanwhile, your silence signals confidence. It implies you don't feel the need to prove yourself. It's a very subtle, yet powerful way to signal who's on top in the relationship. Picture this example. You're negotiating a raise at work. Your boss throws out an offer. Instead of rushing to counter, you pause. You say, and let that silence hang in the air. Guess what happens next? The silence gets under their skin. They start justifying their offer or even upping it, just to break the tension. This tactic works because most people are uncomfortable with silence. When you can master it, you flip the dynamic. Now they're the ones scrambling to impress you. Let me share a personal story. A few years ago, I was pitching an idea to a potential client. I was so excited that I kept on talking, explaining every little detail, answering questions that they hadn't even asked yet. At first, they seemed interested, and I thought I was doing a good job. But by the end, they were disengaged. Later, I realized I had overwhelmed them. Essentially, I had talked myself out of that deal. Here's what I learned. When you talk too much, you take away the other person's ability to engage with you. Worse, you look insecure, like you're trying too hard to prove yourself. It's not impressive, it's exhausting, and it comes across as low value. So, How do you master the art of saying less? Let me break it down in 3 simple steps that you can use in almost any situation, whether it's conversations, negotiations, or even text messages. Step 1. Master the pause. Next time someone asks you a question, resist the urge to answer immediately. Instead, pause for just a moment. That silence, it's not awkward. It comes across as powerful. It shows that you're thoughtful, deliberate, and in no rush to prove yourself. The 2-second pause can change how people perceive you. Step 2. Ask better questions. Here is a secret. The question determines the answer. Thus, the person who asks the questions controls the conversation. Instead of talking about yourself, ask something meaningful to better understand the person you're sitting across from. For example, what's the biggest challenge that you're facing right now? Or what do you think is the best way forward? Not only does this shift the spotlight away from you, but it also gives you valuable information that you can use to your advantage. Step 3. Keep it short online. We have to talk about texting since this is such a major form of communication today. Too many people, especially when they try to impress somebody, write paragraphs, explaining, overthinking, and oversharing. Do not do that. A short, confident message creates curiosity. It makes people value your words. So instead of saying something like, "Hey, I had a great time last night, let's hang out soon, what's your schedule like?" Try this instead. "Great time last night, when are you free?" Generally speaking, when texting, you should eliminate any unnecessary words. Only keep those words that communicate the emotional message you want to send. Remember, brevity equals confidence. If you think you need to spill your soul in order to attract a partner, please see my last video on Law 3. Need more proof? Think about the most powerful figures in history. Napoleon, Lincoln, Roosevelt. They weren't known for rambling speeches. They were known for their precise words. Even in modern times, people like Steve Jobs used this principle. When introducing the iPhone, he didn't bombard the audience with technical jargon. He said, "Today, Apple is going to reinvent the phone." This was a simple message that was iconic and unforgettable. Here's the bottom line. Saying less doesn't just make you mysterious. It makes you more magnetic. Whether you're in a meeting, on a date, or texting someone new, remember this. Words are like currency. The more that you put into circulation, the less each one is worth. But when you spend your words wisely, people can't help but pay attention. So the next time you feel an urge to over-explain, pause, hold back, and say less. Then watch as people lean in, waiting to hear more. If this resonates with you, drop a comment below and tell me how you're going to use this principle in your life. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with somebody who talks way too much. Also, if you want my free, actionable summary of the 48 Laws of Power, it's yours when you subscribe to my Substack. The link is in the description. Until next time, remember, silence isn't just golden, it is powerful.